Hello everyone, this is the opinionated one, here to, share my opinion. So, I had actually recorded a, different video, audio for a video earlier, not earlier, but yesterday, and I discussed the recent removal of the channel Black Pigeon Speaks, and then I kind of went on from there and talked about, censorship in general, which I'm going to talk about again here, just probably in a, more concise manner than previously. As many of you probably already know, the channel Black Pigeon Speaks has been reinstated by YouTube after a multitude of larger channels and smaller channels got together and demanded YouTube to reinstate the channel. He has never once, to my understanding, violated their terms of service, so they were never justified in removing him. But that's what brings me to the main topic, and this will always be my main topic whenever stuff like this happens. This whole thing, this deplatforming, this censorship, this demonetization, all of this stuff, it isn't about left versus right politics. It's barely even about the personal drama between channels or between individual journalists and comedians in the case of Crowder and Mazza. This is about the corporate establishment of the news media and Silicon Valley trying to get rid of their competition. Because many of you have realized this already, but some may not have. We are the competition. Those of us who commentate on the news, who talk about politics, who discuss ideas, people, events, and so on, we are the competition to these entities, these people, these companies, these outlets. Because we're part of a new generation of users, of people, of entities, of companies and whatnot that use the internet as our means to communicate with the wider world. Many of these companies have not had this until recently. Many of these companies, say the mainstream media, have strived and survived on television. And yes, while prior to that, and historically speaking, they did use, newspaper and then radio before they became more oriented with television. But now that the internet is here, now that anyone and everyone can speak their mind about a topic wherever they want, largely, these media companies feel like they are under threat because they're not part of this upper echelon, this protected class of journalism anymore, because, anyone can be a journalist now. Anyone can be a commentator. Anyone can be a pundit. All they have to do is put in the time and effort to make it happen. And because of that, because they don't want to have that competition, they will go out of their way to remove it. This is about the corporate establishment. This has never been about left versus right. This has never been about drama between individuals. Those are just means to an end. Those are just the justifications for these people to do these things. People will say, Google and Facebook and all these platforms have a left-wing bias. I won't deny that. But that left-wing bias, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Because who's to say that the same thing wouldn't be happening if the person in control was right-wing? All it takes is an authoritarian. All it takes is someone who thinks that their way of viewing the world is the right way. And anyone else who denies them that, who tells them they are wrong, must be silenced. And that's what we have in these companies, in these people. These are people, these are companies run by authoritarians who don't care about any other opinion but their own, any other position but their own. And when you challenge that, even amongst the establishment, as we've seen with multiple whistleblowers, as we've seen with pundits in other fields, in other companies, when you challenge that, they will do anything they can to defame you, to libel you, to slander you, or to remove you, deplatform you, censor you, and whatnot. This isn't, once again, it's never been about left versus right. And people need to realize this. Because I know there are people on both sides of the political spectrum that even now are in denial, who think that, oh, my opponent has been, censored or deplatformed. I support that. But they don't realize that the censors, the authoritarians doing the censorship, they don't care about them. They don't care about you. They'll come for you when the time comes. Because the only opinions, the only positions they care about are their own. So when you end up censored, when you end up deplatformed, you will regret saying that you wanted your political opponents, your petty drama squabble opponents, censored and deplatformed. You will regret it, and there will be no one there to help you. If you get lucky, maybe there will be. Maybe people will set aside those differences where you could not and help you anyways. But if you keep up this authoritarian demand, this authoritarian trend, no one will help you when the censors come for you. And I hate to say that. I don't want anyone to be censored. And yes, that even means people who are wrong, people who are cruel, mean. So long as they are not directly inciting to violence, I largely do not care what they say. And we live in a new era, an age of information, and we need to respect that. Everyone should be able to participate in the age of information. So we have to put aside our petty differences, effectively unify against this establishment who wants us gone, simply because all they care about at the end of the day is their money. And all they're going to do is get rid of you because you're a risk to their money and their influence and their power. You wonder why fake news is such a popular phrase in today's world, even prior to Donald Trump, arguably. It's because people are waking up to the fact that these companies, these media outlets, never really were on their side, I guess. And it's happening on both sides of the spectrum, especially amongst millennials and the new generation Z. People are waking up realizing these outlets, these companies, they don't care about us. All they care about is our data, our information, and the money they can make off of it. All they care about is their ability to convince us that everything is bad, everything that their personal political opponents do is bad, and that we must believe the same way they do. And I'm sorry, but I don't want to live in a world where corporations dictate how I should think about other people, how I should think about my politicians, how I should think about my country, how I should think about my own friends and family. These companies pit people against each other. If you haven't seen this already, you are blind. So, once again, this is never about left versus right. This has always been about the establishment trying to do away with their competitors. trying to silence those who call them out for their ill actions, I guess. And yes, there are people that will go around and take this as some sort of conspiracy theory. Some people will put words in my mouth and the mouths of people that support me. But you know what? Let them do it. Because at the end of the day, that's their right. They have the same freedom of speech that I have. And I think everyone should be guaranteed that right, regardless of where they're from. Hell, if I could, I would love to see the Constitution applied to the world over. But that's a long way coming. And maybe one day we'll achieve it. Who knows? But right now, what we need to do is realize new media is under threat from the old. And then the only way that we can survive this is if we set aside our differences and decide, no, you will not silence us. You will not put us away. You will not censor us, deplatform us. You will not defame us, libel us, and slander us. Call them out and don't stop making content. Don't stop speaking. Don't stop shouting off the rooftops. Because even if you're wrong, even if what you say is bad or mean or whatnot, I still believe you should have that right to say it. Just as much as I should have the right to call you out on it. And don't worry, I will. And so will others. Because, as the saying goes, sunlight is the best disinfectant. And if we let these corporations push people into the dark, it's only going to make things worse. So if you side with the censors, you will regret it one day. Because the censor will always come for you. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below. Give me a like if you liked this video. Hell, give me a dislike if you think it was a bad take. Share it if you want to amongst your friends. And, of course, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. This has been the Opinionated One, sharing my opinions. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day. Bye.